Welcome back to another edition of Global Book Network, the show where we sit down with authors and ask them not only why they decide to write the books that mean so much to them, but also their how, their tactics, and that's why. Hey, it's Global Boys, and I, for one, am excited because I'm going to learn a whole lot more about candles than I ever thought possible. Please welcome the author of When Candles Speak, Shelly Warren, to the show. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
And I can't complain. It's a nice, dreary day. I don't know. It's kind of weird to say nice and dreary, but sometimes I love an overcast day. It gets me in the mood for something, more
Yes.
ethereal.
Yes.
Well, before we go into the book, When Candles Speak, because I am looking forward to that discussion, I just want to know more about your journey as an individual. Did you find yourself on the path of being an author early, or was it a situation where you came across something that was just so fantastic you had to put pen to paper?
I never thought I would be an author ever. That was
Yeah.
not ever in my intentions. I was born a psychic medium, so it's been a journey trying to figure out messages from spirit, right?
Hmm.
Everybody gets different messages different ways, but that's why I decided to write the book When Candles Speak, because for years I would document and take pictures of the candles so that I would have my own reference guide, like, what did that mean again? What happened? Because I would take the picture, document it, and then I would wait to see like what became of my interpretation. So then I decided, like, you know what? I think everybody might like a handbook like this, so that they can have something they can refer to when they are doing any kind of divination or candle magic or just, lighting candles in general. Everybody in the world likes candles, right?
Right, true, true. I think I have two burning right now. It's pumpkin spice season here at the
Nice.
apartment. But what was that moment when you said, you know what? Was it like an encouragement from a friend? Was it like a lightning rod moment? When did you go, no, this is actually something that's cool. I'm going to share with other people.
Yeah, that it wasn't, it was just a, like, I kept looking for somebody else to write the book, pretty much, right? I figured there has to be somebody else that's kind of on this candle thing besides me. So I would look all the time to see if I could find any kind of a manual, right?
Yeah,
And I couldn't. So then I finally said, you know what? It's been a long time. You put all this together. Other people will probably appreciate your efforts and helping them with their divination.
hmm, I can totally see that. You had mentioned that you were born a psychic medium, which
Yes.
is really cool. But at what age did you realize that you were different than your peers? As a child, a teenager, somewhere in
Yeah,
between?
child. So I was probably about four, maybe, when I had my first spirit visit. And
Was
it
it
was, it
hostile
was,
or was it
it
was
was,
it
no, it was good. It was
okay?
actually, it was kind of like easing me into it. So it was animals, and they were in my room. I could touch them. And so when I finally got up and ran out, I was four.
Yeah.
I ran to my mom's room and I said, Mama, Mama, there's animals all over my room. And she goes, Oh, honey, you were just sleeping, right?
Yeah.
No, Mama, I wasn't. But I went back to bed. And as time went on, I have known things that I shouldn't know, right? Especially
Mhm.
for my age. So at the end of the day, I would tell my mom stuff, and she would say, Well, how do you know that? And I would
Mhm.
say, I don't know, I just know. And then it would happen, right? So since that, I have evolved and I became more aware as spirituality actually has become more aware here in the United States. I think that in the Eastern sides of across the water, they were always more spiritual than we were.
Yeah.
So then I realized I started studying, and the reason I knew things, it's called claircognizance. So it means clear knowing,
Mhm.
and it's information that's fed right through the top of your head, through your crown chakra, and you just know the answer. So you don't hear it, you don't see it, you don't smell it, just all of a sudden, boom, you know.
Yeah.
So my mom started taking note. I was raised a Roman Catholic, so you really did not talk about stuff like this back then.
Sure.
I was born in the 60s, so yeah, all of this was very taboo. But she knew that there was something different about me, so she encouraged it.
Yeah.
And we just kind of kept it between us. So I still get lots of very vivid dreams. Dreams is a way of clairvoyance, so it's clear seeing. And so a lot of times when I have a very vivid dream, it's a prediction of what's coming.
Okay. Yeah, I'm so glad I asked that question. I was like, I can only imagine if you were born something, you're the time that it reveals itself to you either is the most youngest and or most awkward time of your life. So I didn't know if it was
Yeah,
a computer
right.
thing or
At least it
whatever.
wasn't awkward. I was just little and was accepting, and um, I just didn't know that I was special. I thought everybody did that.
I have so many more questions about that, but let's focus on when candles speak. And so the idea was a field guide for those that may do their own divinations. Did you have a particular reader in mind, a certain kind of someone that would practice, or was it kind of a general guide or approach?
Well, this guy right here, pretty much even the very beginner can pick this book up and do their candle magic or divination, right? Or even a prayer, right? The prayer is the same thing as like manifesting and all of the spiritual work that gets done, but they call it prayer, so they think it's different, right? It's
Hmm.
not. So anybody can actually pick up this book, start lighting up candles, and pay attention to what the candle's doing, right? And it tells you if your candle is doing this, then this is probably the outcome. So
Right.
anybody could do it.
And for someone that may not be trained, me guilty, is it a thing that when we manifest that to the candle, or are there certain particular candle builds like
Right.
waxes or materials that actually
So
lead to their things?
anytime you're lighting a candle, right? The candle itself is just a tool, right? For whatever you're doing, whether you're praying or doing a manifestation of something you want to come into your life or some kind of blockages maybe you want removed. Really, it's all a focal point, right? But if you're doing that and using it as the tool and you're focusing on it while you're doing whatever you decide to do with it, the candle will tell you what's going to happen
Interesting. How exactly?
because it will do different things. Like it will spark sometimes. You ever see candles that go spark, spark,
Oh
spark,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so when candles are sparking like that, usually that means there's a lot of high energy. So at that point, whatever it is that you're praying about, manifesting, whatever you want to call it, is a high likelihood to happen.
Oh, absolutely. That makes sense. Yeah, I guess candles do have a personality in certain ways when it comes to situations like that. And I'm from the East Coast, man. And a lot of times when we would say things like this, we go, whatever, it's all in your head, buddy. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
I'm sure you've dealt with that kind of resistance. How's that been like?
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's like so it, because being born with it, and then my mom helped me along the way until I could find somebody, and I didn't find anybody like me until I was probably in my late 20s or early 30s, where I
Okay.
could actually talk to them. Right? It's kind of like Bible study, and you got to talk about it, right? And so when I finally found someone who could do what I did, then she had her side of what she could do and how it came to her, and then I had mine, so we kind of like combined it and broadened it. They didn't have psychic shops, when I was growing up. You certainly didn't talk about it. It was something you did in a back room.
Right, right, right.
So now though they're everywhere, right? And I do work at a psychic shop. That's what I do now. I'm a retired government worker. And my joy is to actually give people readings.
This is so fascinating because how do you bring it up in a time where it was taboo? It was like symbols. Was it kind of like a word that was said and you go, I know what that means? Like, how did you find that first connection?
Yeah. Well, usually your guides are very plain and simple with you, right? So it's easy. That part's easy. The part that's hard is finding people to talk to about it,
Right.
right? There was a time they burned witches at the stake for knowing stuff.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you were very quiet about it. And every now and then someone might say, "Oh my God, I had this crazy dream." And then it happened, right? And I'll be like, "Oh my God, I have those all the time." So, and it would be very light like that. It wasn't in depth, because it was like everybody was quiet about it, right?
Hmm.
Like if anybody found out that you could do those kind of things, then you were absolutely crazy.
You talked about the shifting or evolving mentality and attitude towards this pursuit. And you did write the book. Was there any sort of trepidation when writing the field guide for someone else, that maybe that it may be seen as too much, or was it kind of like, hey, look, we're in a good place society wise. We're going to have the ideas out there, and I'm willing to take whatever flack or praise I
Yeah.
get.
So, of course, I've talked with other psychics because that's the world I'm from now. And most of them do some type of candle work. And so we kind of like did it as a group. But it was long before I ever even thought about writing the book. So
Mhm.
I never even dreamed about writing a book. When I was a kid, I had like a dyslexia kind of thing. I didn't read very well.
Mhm.
So never in my life did I think, let's write a book. No.
Yeah.
So then I was like, you know what? I can't find any book like this out there on the market. And I know that people from my world, right, would appreciate something like this. And then the people who are being spiritually awoken too, because I keep seeing huge waves of people awakening to spirituality, right? They have a broader belief than just God, right? So
Right.
there's so much more angels and guides and so many things. So it would appeal to them, and it would be something they wouldn't have to take years in investigating like I did. They could look at the book and then they can make their own assumption, like, is that what happened for me? you know Most people that do the things that I do, they usually have a journal.
Yeah.
Okay. They usually have a journal for everything. So I always tell people, if you're a dreamer, right? If you dream a lot, keep a journal by the bed, write it down. I can even help you with dream interpretation because I've been doing it for so long. So I teach classes too. I teach people how to tap into their own psychic abilities because every single person was born with them. They
Really?
just they just don't know it. Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea.
Or
I thought I was
or
like
they
the guy.
dismiss it. A lot of times it's like, remember when I was a kid, I just knew things, right? I
Yeah.
just thought I was super smart, right? I was the smartest kid around. I didn't know that it was like a spiritual gift. I didn't know. So
Yeah.
that's how a lot of people are walking through life. They will hear like something in their head, right? And be like, oh, all right, I'm going to do that. So a lot of times it's your spiritual guides that kind of come with you from birth, and they
Right.
like help you if you're in a spot where you're like, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? Right? And then all of a
Right.
sudden you just seem to have the answer, right? So anybody can do it.
You said that you confided or collaborated or even bounced some ideas off of your colleagues in the space. Was that part of the pre-production process, or were they totally at the end of it too? Were they your first readers? Were they first beta readers? How did they actually help shape the craft of this book?
Um, well, because we would talk about the candles and what they would do, because some candles are just made badly. So they will act, weirdly because they're not made good.
Yeah.
Um, but the book was something that came later, and it was all about learning magic and going through the process. And most of the time when you're doing any kind of magic or divination, there's a candle lit somewhere.
Well, okay. Now this is like really fascinating. So, walk me through the actual practitioner side of things. You're out there. You're tapping into multiple planes. How
Mhm.
do you combat fatigue or filling in the cup or anything that you haven't seen before? Like, how do you reconcile all that stuff that may, you
Yeah.
know?
So I learned early on that you have to learn how to ground and protect. So sometimes your energy will be like flying off the walls, and you got to learn kind of like what works for you to bring the energy down. Okay. So, like for me, I can take 3 very deep breaths and it'll bring my energy right back to me. um Whenever I go, if I go into large crowds, which I don't a lot, I don't like all that energy.
Who does?
So right, so see, you're an empath. Empaths don't like going into all that energy because they can feel it even if they don't recognize it.
Hmm.
Okay. So before I go into a place like that, I will visualize the white light of the Holy Spirit, right, surrounding me like in a bubble. So now you can't get to me, so
Yeah.
your energies bounce off. Or I actually wear crystals.
Oh, nice. Yeah, a layer of protection for sure.
Yes.
What was the actual writing time? putting everything together? Was it weeks? Was it months? What was the editing process like? Was it over drafts? Like, how does it even look like? This is such a unique space for even me as a host. I'm just so
Yeah.
fascinated.
It really didn't take me that long, maybe a couple of months. I sent it to my daughter. So between her and I, she would critique things for me. She would make the pictures look better
Hmm.
than I had taken. And then I reached out to Prime Publishing and I sent them what I had. And from there, it just happened. So in June, the end of June, the book got published. And so it's only been a few months.
Okay, did you celebrate that night?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I did. I did.
Yeah, and any fun plans? I mean, how do you celebrate things? How do you celebrate wins?
I'm older now, so I don't celebrate like I used to.
Hey,
But I like to just get with people that I love, right? And I
hmm,
just like to have a good time. And
yeah,
most of the time, I'm sober, on because I don't need anything to enhance my craziness.
yeah. I got you. No, hey, I'm pretty crazy myself. So look, the idea seems very interesting, but I do feel maybe I was a victim of the class of people who kind of suppressed any abilities I may have had. If I want to pick up the book today, is there any kind of prerequisites I should be aware of before I check out, or just kind of like from scratch, from zero, check it
No,
out and see what's going on?
if you purchased a book, like off Amazon, because you can get the ebook or the regular book. Like I said, it's for beginners. Anybody, it's simple. So it's very clear and to the point, but it's very simple reading.
Hmm.
So anybody could actually sit down and read it and use it.
What are the multiple layers of intuition? Because I feel like that is a very still water that can run deep.
Yeah. So the different levels are the same levels that we have as humans, right? There's seeing, there's hearing, there's smelling, there's tasting, there's knowing, and then there's feeling. So the same that we have senses as humans, we have them in a higher level in a spiritual sense. You just have to pay attention to it. Have you ever walked into a building and there's a crowd of people and you're like, "Oh my god, I got to get the heck out of here," right?
Yeah,
Cuz your body's screaming like, "Get out."
yeah, yeah.
So that that is a spiritual gift.
Interesting. And how do I interpret that? Like either to myself and go, "Oh, Mike, yeah, it
Oh,
makes me awkward," or how do I
yeah.
share
So
that? Do I
so it's
do I go
usually
on
comes
tour?
right from your solar plex. So you know how you talk about you get that gut feeling, right? And you
Yeah.
can feel it in the pit of your stomach, like, oh my God, something's not right. Or you get really happy, the butterflies, right?
Hmm.
That actually is coming from one of your chakras, where you have seven of main chakras from the top all the way to your tailbone, which is your root chakra. And each one of those chakras will light up under a different circumstance and you feel it coming through unless you actually have your guide going, don't go that way.
Right, right,
And
right.
I've had that.
Yeah. So reconciling your gifts sounds like it'd be a lot of fun if you, I don't want
It
to say
is.
let go, but just
Yeah.
embrace it.
Yeah, it is fun. In fact, I just taught a class of 15 people at the shop I work at, and it was teaching them how to get in touch with their own gifts, how to
Yeah.
recognize it.
And if you're freaked out, there's like a calm down room. If I'm like, oh my gosh.
No, they didn't. They weren't free. They really weren't like that. Of
Yeah.
course, a lot of them know me, right? So they know I would start laughing if they started freaking out
Well,
because
fair enough.
that's who I am. And it's like, please, you've always had these. Just because I'm pointing them out doesn't mean that it's awful, right? Or you don't need to be scared.
Right. I feel like we're touching the surface of this. We're talking about when candles speak, but there is a whole other like plane of existence I didn't even know existed.
Oh, yes.
I mean, walk me through that. If I read the book, if I pick it up today, if I picked up When Candles Speak today, and I have more questions and I want to know what's next, I mean, how do I contact you? How do I learn more about this?
So, I do work at a real brick and mortar store, and we're all psychics there. And any one of us would be willing to answer questions. Of course, we're also on social media. So if you sent out a message and said, "Hey, had some crazy stuff happening to me,
Yeah.
then we would help you.
Well, thank you. I hope you do.
Yes, we
Sorry.
would.
Shelly, this has been such a riveting conversation. Like, I didn't know what to expect, but I'm already asking all the right questions. I want to know more
Yes.
about this. When Count Speak available now. Here's the thing. I gotta put a little hand to the fire there. Is there a sequel on the horizon?
No, I haven't. I mean, this is just like a whirlwind to me. And it's like I haven't even had time to stop and think, right? So it's like, wow, what's happening? um,
That's
because
a lot of
I've
fun.
had a few like bigger book places that have ordered like 500 books.
Oh,
So
wow.
they're already being distributed all over the place. So I don't think I ever thought it was going to go so fast and viral as it did. I was thinking more small, like people in my type of community, people that, are interested in, like knowing. So what is the universe saying to me, right? Um, and there is many ways so to do that. Even it's fun if you have a candle in front of you and a friend, right? You set it between you and you kind of take a few deep breaths, kind of bring yourself to the ground, right? And you kind of say a little prayer like, please protect us, don't allow any negative energies in, right? And then you can literally ask the flame questions, and it's kind of like a yes or no question, and the candle will dance for you.
Wow. That's so cool.
Yes. So you start playing with it, and you always ask what you already know the answer to, just to see what the candle's going to do. So if it's like, is my name Shelly, then the candle will do a certain movement. And then if I say, is my name Greg, and it does a different movement, right? Then I know that the candle's this way is yes, or and that way is no, or when it goes way up into a stream, it's a yes. When it shortens itself into a little flame, then it's no. So,
Wow.
yeah,
See that? I'm free knowledge for everyone. I definitely learned something here
yeah,
myself.
it's fun. I mean, I love doing all of it. I don't take any of it seriously. Um, it's just fun. It's a lot of fun, and even when my own guides speak to me after all these decades, I still
Yeah.
don't listen. I don't listen. A lot of times I'll be like, well, why can't I go that way? Well, they won't
Yeah.
argue with me. They'll be like, okay, go ahead.
You rebel.
Yeah,
Shelley,
yeah.
Shelley, thanks so much for being on this edition of Global Book Network. This is a lot of
Thank
fun.
you. Yes, it is fun. And when you start getting into it, I'm sure when you get off here, you're going to light a candle or go talk to your candle and start watching to see if it will do yes or no things.
I just may do that because my dad was into talking to his plants, and I was like, "That's crazy." But I have like 6 candles, and two
Yeah,
of them are lit right now, so I might just slide
yeah,
over there afterwards.
yeah. Just slide over there, say, okay, I'm putting a thing of protection around us. And, you know, Shelly says the candle can speak to me. So it's kind of like a pendulum. You know what a pendulum is?
Yeah, yeah. Awesome.
So the candle flame is kind of like a pendulum. So the pendulum will swing in different ways to give you the answers. So the flame kind of does the same thing.
Stay